Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Isabel. I'm the founder of I Like Networking. Thank you for coming to this session on finding and maximizing mentor relationships with Katie from the Industry Club.
Hello.
And just a few notes. Katie and I are going to talk a little bit about mentoring, finding mentors, and so on. Katie will also explain a little bit more about what the Industry Club is and the program Marketing Debuts. And we will have a moment for questions at the end. But if you have any questions in the middle of the panel, just pop them into the chat and we'll take a look and see if we can get to all of them. I also sent on the chat a bunch of links. So the I Like Networking website, the Industry Club website, the Industry Club Instagram, our Instagram, and my personal LinkedIn. So if anyone wants to connect over there, feel free to say hi if you have any other questions afterwards. Just as a note, I Like Networking is finishing our first crowdfunding campaign, and we got some match funding from NatWest. We have loads of rewards there, such as CV clinics, other masterclasses, and so on. So if anyone wants to go check it out, it's all on the website. We also have a podcast and have other events and a newsletter with career resources. So yeah, lots of things. So come take a look at us. And then Katie is going to talk a little bit more about what Industry Club has. And just for those who don't know what I Like Networking is, it is a mentoring and networking initiative for women and non-binary people in the creative industries. So it's for anyone who either wants to break into the career in the creative industry or is in it and is a bit stuck or has left and wants to go back. There's no age limit. And we pair you with a mentor for 4 sessions over 3 months. And then they also introduce you to people in their own network so you can come out of this program with a support system. And we also have a group for all the mentees to communicate. And we will be launching some new online networking models pretty soon. So stay tuned. That's all for me. Katie, please introduce yourself and the Industry Club and everything else that we should know about.
Cool. So hi everyone, I'm Katie. I am from the Industry Club. The Industry Club, if you don't know, is a leading provider of training and recruitment for the creative industry. I specifically look after social and content roles and more entry-level account handling positions, and also work across our diversity initiatives. So a big thing at the moment is our Marketing Debuts scheme. So if some of you are kind of looking to break into the marketing industry, then I'm sure you've probably faced the fact that it's a very difficult industry to try and break into. There's lots of kind of roadblocks in the way that cancel a lot of people out, and we're hoping that through Marketing Debuts we'll remove some of those hurdles to help young people basically break into the industry. So to give you a little overview of what Marketing Debuts is, it is 2 apprenticeship schemes, creative project management and digital social and community management. So you would spend a year working whilst also gaining a qualification. And one of the reasons why we're chatting with I Like Networking today is because a part of the scheme also involves a big support group and a mentor as well, to really help you through that program.
Amazing. Thanks, Katie. Yes, please do check out their website. It's on the chat. It's really cool. They have a lot, and follow Katie everywhere as well. All right. So we're going to get on to our main part, which is all about mentoring. And so please, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Oh, someone asked that they couldn't see the link, so I'm sending them again. Sorry, guys. Here we go. I hope that all works.
I don't think anything's come through.
Weird. Everyone in meeting. See if that works.
There we go. Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Technical issues. Okay. So first things first. One question that I get asked a lot is, what's the difference between mentoring and coaching? And this is not going to be the most technical explanation, but just as usually for you to become a coach, you need to have a training. and it can be super expensive to become certified as a coach. It is a very structured program. And the way I like to describe it is coaching is more like CBT therapy, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. So you go in to the therapist and you say, I'm here because I want to, I don't know, stop having a fear of talking public, or I want to deal with this boyfriend that I have and it's a nightmare. I need to break up with him. And you work solely on that goal, and you create some points to check in to see if you're doing progress or not. And the idea is that after a period of time, you're done. And that's how you usually work with a coach. A lot of times a coach is someone that is given to you as well on a business, like a big company. They tend to have those sort of relationships. So it's super structured, much more formal, and it has a beginning and an end, usually, of the relationship. Whereas mentoring is anyone can be a mentor to anyone else. Mentoring can be a formal relationship, or it can also be informal. So it can be someone that you look up to and you know, touch point with them every so often about your career, any questions you might have. Or it can also be someone like in our program of I Like Networking, and obviously with Marketing Abuse, there's also a mentoring scheme, which we're going to get to it. And it's someone that you're going to work for 3 months, and you know, in a way you have some elements of coaching, as in you define some objectives you want to work. But the mentor can, much more than the coach, give feedback based on their personal experiences. It's someone that, you know, can eventually advocate for you throughout your career. It's someone who hopefully you create a long-lasting relationship, and you can always, you know, talk to them or not talk to them, or, you know, go have coffee, etc. And they can introduce you to other people, and they can, you know, tell you about their own story. So it's a much more personal relationship. It's very driven by trust. If there's no trust and respect between the two individuals, very difficult to have a successful mentoring relationship. And not necessarily your mentor needs to be someone who is much older than you or much more experienced. It can just be someone who can help you with something. So for instance, on my own personal experience, I worked with someone that is maybe, it's possible, I think he's like maybe 2 years older than I am. But it was my first time when I first moved to London. He was the person who most helped me to direct and said, look, this is where you look to find a job. This is how you write a cover letter. And this, you know, so he was a mentor in that way, in that he held my hand and he introduced me to some people and kind of showed me the ropes. So he had expertise that I didn't have, but it's not that he, you know, was a big shot anywhere. It's just someone that then I developed a relationship and always talk to whenever I have some questions, because he's someone that's good to have feedback. So I hope that's clear. If anyone has more questions on that, please let us know. Put it on the chat before you forget. And I guess another question that a lot of people ask is that how to find a mentor, right? So one way is, of course, to go via programs like I Like Networking, like Marketing Debuts, and there are lots of other mentoring schemes. So Women Connect, which usually works with people in music, and Women in Culture in the UK just launched one. There are some girls in the US doing one for media called Now Media. So there's lots of programs. They all have different structures, different ideas. So you need to find one that really goes and solves your you know, whatever it is that you need, your requests, your requirements. But I think if you don't have any of those programs, I never went to a program like this, for instance, you can find mentors in many ways. One way is, as I said, people that you are around, that you have a relationship with, or that you are developing a relationship, and you can then realize that, okay, this person has a lot to teach me, or they could be really helpful in providing support and feedback for me to reach X, Y, and Z objectives of my career. And then one way is to have an ad hoc, so every so often you meet, or something that works really well, which is why there are so many mentoring programs that are structured, is to agree on a timeline with your mentor. So go to this person and say, hey, Katie, I really love what you do with, marketing debuts, and you know a lot about this industry. I'm looking to break into, I don't know, I would like to find a role as an account manager somewhere. Do you think you could support me? Like, could we work together every, I don't know, 6 weeks? Could we meet up and have a conversation? So then you find someone, ask them if they would like to be your mentor. And then really important, you establish your limits and your parameters of the relationship, right, Katie? So you would say, yes, you can call me, you can Skype, let's agree to just talk over email, let's WhatsApp, let's meet in person. How long do we need? What for? What are your goals? And what you as a mentee should be doing in between if I'm going to be supporting you with that. Because whenever you're trying to work with a mentor, you need to also be, as much as they are respecting you and trusting and being, trustworthy to you, you have to do the same and respect their time. Right, Katie?
Yeah, I think just going back as well to what you were just saying about reaching out, I think it's always something that I was always really nervous to do. And I'd think, oh, I'm going to be a real burden on this person and they're not going to want to be my mentor. But I actually think a lot of people see it as a privilege to be asked to be a mentor. And it's kind of you saying that I admire what you've done in your career. So I would definitely say don't necessarily be afraid to message someone or email someone and ask them if they're willing to be your mentor, because I imagine a lot of the time they would see that as a really nice positive thing.
Exactly. Then Neil asked, what would be the best way for finding a mentor within a more niche industry? So yes, another thing is finding a mentor that you don't personally know and that you want from a specific field or area. And then I think there are many ways you can go about that. One is the most important thing, which is what I always drill on this, is knowing exactly why you need a mentor is the first step to finding the mentor. So it doesn't really work if you want to have, Michelle Obama as a mentor just because she's Michelle Obama. Like, what exactly do you think she can teach you? What exactly is the skill you need that the person can give or cannot give? That's way more important than the person almost, because you really need to figure out what is it that you want. Otherwise, you won't get anyone to help you. So first of all, define your ask. Really, really drill on that. Why I need this person, what person I need, what is it that I would like to achieve. And once you have that sort of pitch, I'm going to talk more about pitching, elevator pitch later in other sessions, but I could go a little bit about that is, then you can introduce yourself to whoever the person is that you know. Because once you know exactly what you need, it's easier to find the people that can help you, because you can identify on their profiles who they are. And then, as Katie said, you can message them and say, hi, my name is Neil. This is what I do. I'm looking to have a mentor in X area to help me with this objective. And I love to work with you because of whatever it is that you do. Would you be interested? Would be able to have a conversation? So you can do a direct ask. You can do that on LinkedIn, for instance, if they're there, because for instance, LinkedIn is it's a very professional platform. And the point of LinkedIn is to be connected to people that you potentially don't know. So it is not as invasive, for instance, as an email, because as soon as you send someone a message on LinkedIn, first of all, they're going to be able to see who you are, see your profile. So it already has a level of transparency that on email you might not get. And I think that's super important. And also, if that person is on LinkedIn and you see that they are second or third contact, so someone that you know might know them, it could be a super nice way to ask that other person to connect you. So then you have someone else who actually knows that person, advocates for you, and say, actually, I do think this is totally, that's perfect. Like, oh my God, it would be a great match. So of course, I think LinkedIn works best. If the person is not active on LinkedIn, sometimes they will have their official email. So you can also do that. Just please note that those things may take time. A lot of people don't read their emails all the time or don't always access their LinkedIn. And so, just be patient. It can take like 7 days for someone to even get to your email. So if after 7 to 10 days no one replied, you can try again. Otherwise, try to find another format. But another thing that you can do is identify the people in your network. It can be your peers or anyone else that you know personally, that knows what you're looking for, and email them and say, hey guys, this is Neil, I'm trying to do this. I'm really looking for a mentor that could help me with X, Y, and Z. Do you think you know anyone that you can introduce me? So create like a more or less formal email to send to a few people in your network that they could then forward directly to someone that they know. That is also super helpful. And I think we don't always make the best use of our own networks to find those sort of people. And you never know. Everyone knows someone who knows someone, and that's how the words go around. So yeah, so that's one of my biggest advice. I don't know, Katie, do you have anything to add to that?
I agree with you. If they don't reply, don't panic. It is probably just people being busy and not always on LinkedIn. But I'd also remember that these people are going to give up their time to you. And I guess going back to what you were saying at the beginning, Isabel, the difference between a mentor and a coach is that quite often coaches are paid, whereas mentors are volunteering their time. So I think there also has to be that respect there, that it has to kind of fit around their schedule. And so if they're not getting back immediately, just give them that time to get back to you.
Yeah, exactly. So those are my main things. And then one other point that I think it's important, and it touches upon what Katie just said, is how to make the most of your mentor. So if you locked in a mentor, you decided how you're going to work, and we're going to meet every 6 weeks, every 2 months, every week for a month, whatever it is, be extremely prepared. And by that, I mean, again, know exactly what you want to get out of that conversation. Be super informed about your mentor, study, research, what have they done, what are their interests, what is their experience that makes sense to you, all of those things. And then, if it's something about a specific industry, research as much as you can about the industry. Make sure that you flag for yourself what are the questions you have, what are the things you don't understand, and come to all the meetings prepared with a set of questions, things you would like to work with, and always be on time. Don't bail last minute. That's super bad form for any relationship, but especially on a mentoring relationship. So, and again, if someone says, oh, I can only meet in Soho at 5 p.m., it's you and the mentee, you're taking up the mentor's time. So you should do the best you can to adapt to their schedules. And so I think that's very important. And in between the sessions, is important that you continue to do some work. So sometimes the mentor will ask you to do some research or work on something, or send you a list of resources for you to take a look. So most of the work in the mentoring relationship is from the mentee. I mean, you're the one who's trying to get the most out of it. So just make sure that when you're asking for a mentor, that you have enough time allocated to do those things, because you have the most to gain. And the more prepared you are, the better it is, and the more you're going to get out of that relationship. Right, Katie?
Yeah, I think it's really important to, I think probably in the initial session, to kind of set out your boundaries with them and have a bit of a formal plan of how often you're going to meet, when you're going to meet, what you're going to discuss in those meetings, and your goals. And I think if say you decide to meet every 6 weeks, and then there's a 2-month stint where maybe not a great deal changes, or you don't have anything to chat about, don't be afraid to maybe let them know a couple of weeks in advance, you know what, maybe we can reschedule and miss this one, because there's also no point wasting their time just for a general chit chat. But I also think, like Isabel was saying, have a plan, do your prep, and know, and maybe send them the plan beforehand, so that they can also be prepared, and have a think about what advice they can give you, but definitely plan and be prepared. And if you say you're going to work towards a goal, that's on you to work towards that goal before your next meeting, and be able to chat it through with them.
Yeah, and I think with Align Networking, I sent to all the mentees a small document which has like a structure. It's something that you can find in different forms, but I think it really helps if you put on a table like my short goals, how do I know that I'm achieving them? What are the steps perhaps? Or what are the measures that I know I'm getting closer to them? Then medium term goals and then long goals. So long-term goals. I think it's, of course, be prepared as well for those to change. They can shift a lot and that's fine. But it's important for you to have that framework, so that you also know that the mentoring relationship is going somewhere. And it's a tool that you can share with your mentor, and they can, give you feedback in terms of, I don't think this goal is realistic right now, or that may take longer, or maybe the steps to achieve this are different than the ones you think. But if you're already thinking about those things, it really gives them as well a template with which to support you. Because again, no one knows what you're thinking and what you're like unless you tell them. And if you feel like your mentor is saying something that you don't agree with, or that it's not exactly what you were asking, be very careful with your language. My advice is always, whenever there's something that you're not exactly sure how to say, and if it's a little delicate, just start with I. Well, I feel like maybe my understanding is this, and then launch on the conversation, so that, it's totally fine to disagree, but just again, be super respectful and understand that people have different realities, different contexts, and sometimes your mentor is seeing things in one way that you're not, and it could just be like a culture shock, a culture shift, or something that you haven't thought about yet. So yes, the language is super important as well. But that document is super useful. I can maybe find it as well, but you can find it anywhere in terms of, goal setting and things like that. There are many ways to do it, but I recommend using one of those that fits your profile and your personality, to start thinking about that before you go and ask your mentor to work with you.
I'd also say, like, when you're prepping for every session, go back to your initial kind of asking why you're having that mentor, and kind of evaluate each session and actually make sure that what that initial thing that you wanted the mentor for is actually being met. Because I do think people can grow out of their mentor. I guess in an ideal world, you grow with your mentor as they go through their career. They're still able to help you with things. But if you want to have a slight change or sidestep into something else, there will be a time where that mentor maybe stops being as beneficial to you as it previously was. So definitely revisit that ask and see if it's still meeting what you need from it.
Yes, exactly. Lou asked, how long should you have a mentor for? That really depends on your goals. I think it's something you agree with your mentor. And as I said, I think if you're trying to solve something specific, it's really good to have a time frame to work on. So say 3 months, 4 months. With I Like Networking, we decided to do it over 3 months because most people that are our mentors could not commit to more time. So we also wanted to help people as fast as possible, because we launched in the middle of COVID. I mean, we're still in the middle of COVID, but it was more in the middle. And so that was our idea. And so I created a structure that would work on that time frame. I think 4 to 6 months is a really good time frame, 3 to 6 months, because it gives you enough time to let things happen. Not everything's automatic. If you're applying for jobs, you might not hear for a month and a half. If you're applying for funding, it takes 6 weeks minimum, so just consider the time frame or how things operate as well. But another thing is that maybe you'll have a formal relationship with someone as a mentor for, say, 4 months, 6 months. But then if you develop a really great relationship, it will be someone that you can be in touch with, every once in a while. And you can, touch base as soon as you need. So it can develop from a structured thing to a more ad hoc situation. But again, depending on your goals, your needs, and what the mentor can offer you. Sometimes the mentor will only be able to offer you 2 sessions, and then they'll introduce you to someone else, and that's also super valid, right? Of course, marketing debuts, which is the program we're going to go into, has a longer time frame. It's slightly different, but I think it really depends on what you're trying to achieve, and how much time you have as well, because it takes a lot of time for you, a lot of resources. It's like homework. Right? Oh my God. Are there any benefits to having more than one mentor at a time? Well, Neil, I don't know. Like, I don't have stats on that. I think the structured mentorship relationship is really tough. So it's better to just focus on one mentor. I personally never had a formal mentor, but I have these informal people that I touch base with every once in a while. And of course, then I have more than one. And I find that extremely, extremely helpful because, like everything else in life, not everyone is going to solve all your issues and not everyone can help you with all things. And I really appreciate having those people that are like my support system to, you know, talk to when something comes. And of course, they can also talk to me, which is the very important part of any relationship, is that it's a two-way street. Your mentor is also going to learn from you and talk to you and, you know, develop their personality in that way. So yeah, I think it's, but if it's a structured relationship, I think it's much better to have one person at a time and then you move on to something else, because otherwise everyone's going to be overwhelmed and you might not get the most of it in any case. Katie, I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'd find a mentor based on kind of one main goal that you want to reach. And so I'd say focus on that one goal with that one mentor and then make another plan for what it is that you want to achieve next. And really focus on one, I think, first before another.
Yes, absolutely. And then, so Katie, I think this would be a great hook to have. Wait, someone asked, what's an example of a goal? I'll get there. So a goal could be anything. It could be, for instance, I want to get into the music industry and I don't know where to go. So your mentor can be someone who's going to introduce you to people in licensing, people in A&R, people in production and tour management, and say, okay, this is what people do. These are the skills, these are the resources, this is where you can find information. This is what you would need to develop to get into this position. This is how we should rewrite your CV, etc., etc. That could be one thing. A goal could be, well, I feel stuck in my career. I don't know how to move forwards. I'm not sure where to go. And so your goal can be to figure out what is it that you want to do and how to get out of this position. Your goal could be, oh, I want to go freelance. I want to be self-employed, or I want to work for that specific industry. I want to change my career. I want to pivot. It can be anything. I mean, some people that we've worked with have been like, oh, I feel really uninspired now. I've been working in this area and I'm deflated. You know, it's been really hard to move up, and etc. Like, is there any way that I can find my passion back, or should I be looking somewhere else? And we have mentors who help with that as well. So I think it really depends on you. Of course, I like networking works with everyone from the creative industry. So it's a huge spectrum. So we've had all sorts of people. We have people who are at work. We have single moms. We have people who are 18 and then people who are 55, you know, so it totally depends on you. So those are all goals. But yeah, things that are tangible that you can measure are the most important things, I'd say. But on that note, I think Katie should tell us a little bit more about marketing debuts and how the mentoring within the program works, because I think that will be super interesting for everyone, because then it's how to work with the mentor that's given to you on a program.
Cool. So yeah, so as I said earlier, Marketing Debuts is all about helping young people break into the creative industry and trying to move some of those kind of roadblocks that are in the way for many. And so a great part of the scheme is that obviously you will gain experience whilst learning. But personally, for me, I think the best aspect of the scheme is actually the network that it also gives you. So not only will you have a support group of other people that are on your scheme with you going through the same thing, which I guess actually you could probably call mentors as well. They would just be mentors kind of going through the same thing as you, and you'll be able to bounce ideas around, and someone that you can go to also if you've got some slightly questions that you think might be kind of silly that you don't necessarily want to ask your line manager or ask your mentor. But then you also will be assigned a mentor who will be there for you for the duration of your program. So the program is 13 months. So you'll probably meet with your mentor quite early on, and you will be able to chat through what it is that you want to achieve by the end of the program, and then also some shorter term goals that will add up, I guess, to your longer term goal at the end. And I guess the main difference from what Isabel was chatting about at the beginning was that we will obviously give you this mentor. So it won't be for you to necessarily go out and message or email people and find that mentor. We're giving it to you, which I guess immediately in some ways makes the process a little bit easier. But then it is also still for you to define what that ask is and what it is that you want to get from that mentor. And it's still very much on you as well to manage that relationship. I think with any mentorship, it is what you put in is what you get out. If you don't put the work in, then you're not going to see the results from that relationship. But I mean, we're here to work with you as well to make sure you are structuring your sessions with your mentor, that you are actually meeting with your mentor. And I guess the great thing is that we'll match you with someone that knows the industry inside out. So they'll be able to give you a really good overview of the industry and also what other opportunities there are and the experience you've got, where could that take you? Because I think that's a really big thing when you're early on in your career, is understanding kind of the different pathways within the creative industry and how other things link to new areas and maybe areas that you haven't even come across or thought of yet. But I think someone that's just there to really help you in the early stages of your career and make sure you're learning everything you need to be learning. They can give you insights of maybe other things that you might want to ask your manager for you to take up. But I think the fact that they have the industry knowledge is invaluable. And I also think at the end of the program, if you want to look for a new opportunity, which I mean, we would really hope that you wouldn't, but you've also then got another kind of ear to the ground within the industry, and they should be able to kind of support you as well and give you advice on looking for new opportunities. And you never know as well who your mentor might know, and they might be able to recommend you to a role that they know about or introduce you to other people. And I mean, I think early on in your career, it's quite nice actually to have that mentor for that longer time. But then after your program and after you've kind of decided a little bit more about kind of a niche that you want to go into or what it is that you want to focus on, then you could then go out and find a more specialist maybe mentor based on what it is that you want for your next step, and then maybe have kind of a shorter term program. But yeah, within the program we'll definitely be there to support you and kind of help you through that mentor relationship. So I definitely think it's something a bit different. It's something that a lot of people probably won't have had before. I know from my experience when I first had a mentor, and it was also my mentor's first experience, neither of us really had any idea what we were supposed to be doing. And it very much turned into us meeting every 2 months for a coffee and talking about London restaurant recommendations, which was not really very beneficial. It obviously didn't tell me what I needed to know and didn't really support me career-wise. So a big thing as well is that we will be there to support you through that and make sure you are getting the most out of the scheme and out of your mentor.
Thanks, Katie. I think it would be super nice if you could give them a bit of advice, because the application is closing soon, right?
Yes.
So on how they should apply if they want to get into the opportunity, because I think also any advice you can give on applications, I can give as well on what you should say to get your chances of being selected.
Definitely. I mean, it's very nice to see some familiar names on here that I've already spoken to about marketing debuts. But yeah, so applications close on Monday. So if you're interested, I think Isabel shared the link to the website, which has, there's a webinar on the page that basically just gives a little bit more detail about the two schemes and about what you can expect from the program. And then if you do want to apply, or if there's anything else, you can drop me an email. I'll pop that in the chat. We just need a CV, a covering letter, and we're also asking for a short task. So for the task, we just want you to pick a brand that you like and tell us about something that they've done on social that stands out to you. And we want you to use that as a way to show how creative you can be and how you would approach a brief if you were in the industry. So think outside the box, think how you can get creative with that and really showcase kind of your understanding of the industry and awareness of social media. And yeah, there's lots of information on the website. So if there's anything else you want to know, there's lots of detail on there, or you can drop me an email and we can chat through.
Amazing. Yeah, with iDoc networking, the the application is closed because we're doing it now, but we're going to open it again next year. And ours was like a form and a short video. We are considering if we're going to change that. But again, I think very important is to always make sure that your personality can be seen in your application, and that you know what you, more or less what you want to get out of. And if you want to work with one person specifically, on our case, you need to let us know why. And it can't just be something like, oh, that person's famous, you know, like you need to a little bit more context than that. But in any case, so should we go for questions?
Yeah, just seeing the question
Yeah.
about marketing debuts. So this is the first time that we've actually ever run the scheme. So it's really exciting for us to be launching it. We are hoping that we will be able to run it again next year. If it's really successful this year, then we might also do a second cohort in the summer, but it's very TBC at the moment. But we hope that there will be another one. So definitely follow us on social media to keep up to date.
Yes, I think, what can I do if I fail to pass on the application? Well, I think it depends what you're applying for, but in any application, just try to learn from it. And I think a lot of times, to be totally honest, there are not enough spaces for everybody, and it sometimes is not totally personal. With I like networking, a lot of the mentors that end up choosing someone that they really thought they could help better than other people. And so I think that also depends on the sort of program you're working. Julia says, I tend to fail in applications because I never write clearly and transmit my character in English. Okay, so Julia, this is something that I am from Brazil. I really struggled to get a job in London when I first moved because I didn't know the format or anything. Soft plug, we have a CV clinic right now on sale for the Allied Networking crowdfunding campaign, but we also have some resources on that we share on our newsletter if anyone wants to. But I think she's also Brazilian. Okay, yeah. So Julia, you can write to me in Portuguese if you want to know more about the CV clinic. And lots of Brazilians. Okay, vai Brasil. But yeah, you let me know and I can help because the format is very different. And there are lots of templates, and we also have a partnership with Resume.io that helps with templates. But I think Kate is the one who's most specialized in talent. And I think perhaps, in CVs, you shouldn't really be writing that much. It's more about, the stats and the results you've achieved, more bullet points.
Yeah, I mean, if it's marketing debuts that you want to apply for, then the CV and the covering letter kind of takes, I guess, the priority is the task. So I guess things like that, you have the opportunity to showcase yourself through a less traditional route, which is the main reason, to be fair, that we're doing a task, so that you can showcase your personality, whether that be like if you want to do a video or something and talk about it, as opposed to writing things down. And to be honest as well, we've actually had a lot of applications where people have done a video CV, which is a nice way to stand out, and it means that you don't have to kind of get everything written down if that's not your skill set. But I'm more than happy if anybody wants to chat further about that, and I can offer some advice.
Yeah, and I think there are so many things today that you can do. You can, look at other people's CVs and applications. You can use Grammarly or any of those other like softwares that I'm sure exist more than one about correcting English. But in my foreigner opinion, the only way to really get better at it is 1, practicing. 2, reading a lot. Read a lot in whatever language is it that you're going to work, because that's going to improve how you transmit your personality. And I agree with Katie, sometimes the written form is not a specialty. So maybe, you do it in a video. We actually have a personal branding workshop tomorrow. If anyone wants to join, it's at 6 p.m. where we're going to cover some of those things about how to shine your personality. So yeah, make sure you come to that as well. But I'm not a specialist in recruiting, so I can't say much about that. But yeah, as a Brazilian, I can say that you need to read more and write a lot, and then it's going to get better. Okay, does anyone have the questions either about marketing debuts of not crowdfunding, mentoring? Got my wires confused. I think we had a question about that I lost. What type of things to ask from Lu Delia? I think we covered that, right? So let me allow everyone to mute themselves. If anyone wants to talk to us instead of chatting, feel free to. In other words, I think could cover lots of ground. Again, I said that I have this document, which is a very simple goal setting template. If anyone wants it, I can send it on email. I left my email there, but it is really simple. And I'm sure you can find online anything if you just put goal setting template, and there's going to be tons. Just choose one that makes sense for you. There's so much available these days. And again, for the marketing debuts, do watch the webinar. I did. That's on the website, because it's super helpful, and that it can actually help you with, applications. I think most things that you apply for will have a guideline. So make sure you always read that and understand exactly what it is that people want and need from you, and try to be that. If you're not totally sure about how to say it, one thing that is helpful is just to go through like the job description or the program description, and with a bullet point reply to each aspect of how you would cover that, or why does that make sense for you, just so that you have a structure to then complete the sentences. I don't know, is that a terrible tip? I'm not sure now.
No, I mean, whenever you have a job spec, always go through it with a highlighter and highlight all the points that you need to cover off in your CV or covering letter. Write sentences for them and make sure you build them into your CV or your application, just to make sure you actually do cover off everything and have examples there as much as possible.
Yes. So I think that's it. If anyone else has any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, we have recorded this, so we're gonna make it available somehow, somewhere. And again, you have my contact and Katie's contact, and if you ever want to get in touch, we're around. And follow us, and make sure to reply to marketing debuts. It's only 4 days left, 5, 6.
Yes, Monday, less than a week to go.
Monday, yes, 1 week to go, but apply, because it's gonna be amazing, and it's a really, really great opportunity. And yeah, so that's it from me. Katie, thank you for being on this panel with me.
Thank you, it was great fun.
And thanks everyone, and we'll be around. Thanks Julia. Obrigada for the Brazilians. And we'll speak to everyone soon. And good luck on the applications.
Bye.
Bye.